Hello, my dears. Here is a new session for some grammar lessons that you will find useful, inshallah, for the coming year. In our session, we are going to deal with clauses. Okay, of course, we have different types of clauses. What is a clause? Actually, we mention the word clause to refer to certain part of the sentence, when actually the whole sentence is or consists of two parts. Okay, and there is a kind of relationship between the first and the second sentence. Maybe this relation is that of result, is that of reason, is that of contrast, whatsoever. And that's why we have different types of clauses. So let's discuss some of them. First of all, clauses of reason. If we have two sentences, one of them is a reason for the other. How can I join these two sentences? Of course, using some linkers or some conjunctions, okay? I'm going to list for you some conjunctions that are used for each kind of clause, of reason, of result, of contrast, and so on. So, for the reason, you can use because, as, since, so, seeing that, or seeing as. How? Look at these examples. He stayed at home. Why? Because he is ill. Since he was ill, then what happened? He stayed at home. He stayed at home. Why? Seeing that he is ill. He was ill. What is the result? So he stayed at home. He stayed at home. Why? As he was ill. As you see here, most of them are the same, except maybe for so, that is followed by the result, not the reason. But there is a slight difference between them, which is the punctuation mainly. And as you see, because doesn't have any commas, okay? Since it can be used at the beginning or at the end, and actually like any other conjunction, once we start with the conjunction at the beginning of the sentence, you have to separate the two sentences with a comma. Okay, you can have also some other linkers that are used for expressing reason, okay? But the structure is going to be different a little bit. You have because of, due to, owing to. What's the difference between them and the previous linkers? In the previous linkers, as you see, what follows them is a regular sentence. For example, because. What follows because? He was ill. A sentence with a subject and then a verb. Okay? But here, because of or due to or owing to are followed by gerund, which is verb plus ing, or a noun. For example, he stayed at home. Why? Because of being ill. So here we made use of the verb plus ing, saying that of being ill, gerund. Or he stayed at home due to his illness. So in this case, we used the noun. So both are correct, either to use the gerund or to use the noun. Now we will move to another type of clauses, which is the clauses of purpose. Okay? Purpose is somehow like the target, for example. We can use it through the words to, or in order to, or so as to. For example, people went to the moon. Why? To explore it. Or people went to the moon in order to explore it. Or people went to the moon so as to explore it. Another word that we can use for the purpose, which is for. And for is a preposition that is usually followed by gerund, verb plus ing. So, people went to the moon for exploring it, verb plus ing. Another type of clause, which is the clause of result. You can express the result of something through different ways, as you see. Number one, we can use so, that, or such that. How? So or such, actually they mean something like very, okay? So once you use very or a lot of, you need an adjective following it or an adverb. So as you see in the first example, for Adil is so clever. What is the result of that? What will happen because of his cleverness? He answers all the questions. So this is the cause and this is the result. This is what happens because he was clever. Okay, so here you have so is followed by the adjective. And then we separated the two sentences using the word that. Okay, look at the following sentence. Adil is such a clever student that he answers all the questions. As you see here, such is similar to so, but the difference is that such is followed by an adjective also, but after the adjective there must be a noun. Okay, so is followed by an adjective only, and the such is followed by an adjective by, and then following it a noun. Okay, of course, if this noun is a singular countable noun, you need to put a or an, okay, an article before the adjective. So for example, if I said Hannah is an intelligent girl, but if this noun is uncountable or plural, there is no need for this article a or an. For example, I have such nice friends without a or an. Fine? Okay. Another form to express the result is to, and enough to. Once we showed this space, so they are not following each other exactly, okay? Sometimes they can be separated. So, he is too short. It means he is very, very short to play basketball. As you see here, to contains somehow a negative meaning, as if the original sentence tells you that he is very short and he cannot play basketball. I didn't mention any negative here, but to, which is double O, gave you the meaning that this is something negative, okay? He isn't tall enough to play basketball. Enough is the opposite, okay? It shows or it expresses positive meaning. So once you want to express a negative, you have to put it simply, okay? And as you see here, to is followed by the adjective, but the adjective comes before enough, okay? The last type to express the clauses of result is that, so that, but with nothing to separate them. So here, if you look carefully at the first example, we separated so from that, but here they are close to each other. So she studies hard. And what is the result of this? So that she can get high marks, okay? Another kind of clauses, which is the clauses of contrast. What is contrast? Contrast, we mention contrast when we have contradicting or opposing ideas other than expected, okay? So, for example, I want to tell you, I went to the mall. You expect that I bought something or I saw something interesting there. Then I tell you that I didn't buy anything. So this idea is contradicting or opposing to the idea of going to the mall. It's unexpected to be heard after going to the mall. So in this case, I will tell you, I went to the mall, but I didn't buy anything. You got this? Okay, so we can use these conjunctions in order to show or express the clauses of contrast, like but, however, nevertheless, whereas, although, though, even though. For example, it was raining heavily, but they enjoyed the weather. Actually, when we said it was raining heavily, we expected that maybe people are staying at home, they are not enjoying themselves, they went back, and so on. But we were surprised that they enjoyed the weather, okay? And that's why we used a contradicting conjunction, which is but. Although, It was raining heavily. They enjoyed the weather. Although it is also used to express contrast, but the place in the sentence differs from that of but. Okay, it was raining heavily. However, they enjoyed the weather. As you see here, but and however, they are placed in the same, or they have the same place in the sentence, but actually the punctuation is very important here because it differs. But is preceded by a comma. But however is preceded by full stop and then followed by a comma, or can be preceded by semicolon. And in this case, it will be small h, not capital one. Okay? Now, there are some other words that we can use to join two sentences that are contradicting, that are similar to although or but the structure is different. Like, despite, in spite of, actually they have the same function and the same meaning of though or although or even though. But what's the difference? As you see here, although it's followed by a whole sentence, subject and then a verb. But actually in spite of or despite, they are followed by gerund or noun. Like for example, despite raining heavily, so this is a gerund, they enjoyed the weather. Or in spite of the heavy rain, they enjoyed the weather. As you see here in the first sentence, this is gerund, verb plus ing, but in the second one, it's followed by a noun, preceded by an adjective, which is heavy, okay? And please, try to differentiate between despite and in spite of, because sometimes in the choices you get confused with them. Despite, only, barely, with no of, okay? And in spite of, it's a phrase that consists of these three words. Fine. Sometimes we can use with despite and in spite of a whole sentence, not a gerund or a noun like this. In what case? Only in this case. If they are followed with this part, despite the fact that, or in spite of the fact that, because that is followed by regular sentence. So, despite the fact that it was raining heavily, they enjoyed the weather. Okay. Now, another linker or another clause that can be used is that of neither. Usually we say neither nor. So, neither is used for two things. Number one, it gives negative meaning in the sentence. So, neither cannot go with a negative sentence. Okay? Number two, it deals with or it refers to two things, two people, two groups. Fine? So, when I wanted to show the negative with two things or two groups or two people, I will use neither nor. For example, neither Aya nor her brothers are at home. It means that Aya is not at home and her brothers are not at home. Okay, neither you nor he was awake when I called. What? Was? How come? As you see here, once I chose the verb as plural, and in the second sentence I decided that the verb would be singular. How can I decide the verb in a sentence with neither? Actually, the verb follows the closer noun. Okay? For example, in the first sentence, her brothers. This is the noun that is very close to the verb. So the verb goes with it. The brothers or her brothers are. But in the second sentence, the pronoun or the noun that is close here is singular. Okay? You have here a singular pronoun, which is he. So I will say was. Okay? So the verb goes with the closer noun or pronoun. Either is somehow similar to neither, okay? Except with the idea that neither mainly for the negative, but either comes in a negative sentence, okay? And also it refers to choices or when you have options. For example, when I say either Sama or her cousin is going to visit grandma today. So here we have options. Either Walid or you have to attend the meeting. We have options. I will carry either the black bag or the two small bags. So when we have two options, we use either or. Bear in mind also that, as we said here, that we decide the verb according to the closer noun or pronoun, this rule goes also with either. So here, as you see, either Sama or her cousin is going, because is here follows the closer noun. Okay, either Walid or you have, because have here follows you. If I exchange them, if I said either you or Walid has to attend. You got this? Okay. Another note, which is either is used after a negative statement. As just I told you, neither is used to express negative sentences. So it never comes in a negative sentence because it already contains the negative meaning. But either can be used in a negative sentence. For example, Awla isn't at school today. And Marwa isn't either. So instead of repeating the sentence, Marwa isn't at school, I can simply say, Marwa isn't there either. Okay? Now, we can do a small exercise, okay, to show you how to choose the perfect conjunction or the perfect linker according to the relation between the two sentences to decide which clause is it. For example, sentence 1, Rana and Omar can go on space Friday or Saturday. We chose either. Why? Because usually we say either or, and here we have two options, Friday or Saturday. Sentence 2, they are space to read this difficult book. The word difficult book gives you the meaning that these children, or maybe those people that I'm talking about, find difficulty. So it's a negative meaning. So we usually use to with this negative meaning. So they are too young to read this book. Neither the workers nor their boss space hard. As you remember, we have just mentioned that the verb with either or neither goes or follows the closer noun or pronoun. So here we need a verb that goes with their boss, which is a singular noun. So it works. Then, I worked space long hours that I didn't have any time for myself, out to myself. Okay? Once we see that, okay, of course we are going to forget about to, because to. So now we are choosing between so and such. Okay, look at the adjective. We said that so is followed by adjective only, but such is followed by an adjective and then noun. Here, long, this is the adjective, and here you have hours, which is a noun. So we will cancel so. Okay, then such a or such only. We said that if this noun is singular and countable, you can use a or an. If it's plural or uncountable, there is no need for the article. So here you have hours, which is plural. There is no need for the article. So I worked such long hours. The price of oil has gone down. Space, the increase in the production. Okay? So here we are thinking about a reason for the prices to go down. Okay? Which is the increase. The increase, this is a noun. All of these words maybe can go with reasons, for example, or purpose, but only one that is followed by a noun, which is due to, like owing to, or like because of. I haven't seen space of those films, so I don't mind which one to go to. Here you have a negative sentence. Which of these choices that can go with negative sentences. Of course, neither gives the negative meaning, but it doesn't come in a negative sentence. So it's either, okay? Space, a lot has been done. We need to continue working hard. A lot has been done. A lot, this is the subject. Has been done. This is the verb in the passive voice. So you have a regular sentence. Okay? Which of these words, although the sentences are contradicting and all of them are conjunctions that can match the contradiction, okay? But only one that fits, which is although. Why? Because despite is followed by a noun or ing, and here is no noun or ing. And in spite of is the same. However, is not allowed to come at the beginning of the sentence like this. It separates the two sentences and it comes capitalized between them, okay? Sentence 8, the bus went space slowly that it was quicker to walk. Here you have the linker that, so we are going to exclude enough or to, of course. We are going to choose between such and so. Look at the word here. It's an adverb or an adjective. Only or followed by a noun. It's the adjective or the adverb only. So here we have the adverb without any noun following it. So we will not choose such, it will be so. He failed the test. Space of studying hard. Okay? Only one of these words that can be followed with of, which is in spite. And I told you, you have to differentiate between despite and in spite of. Despite comes alone, stands alone in the sentence. But in spite of, this is a phrase that consists of these three words. Here is the last example. Neither his family nor his friends space anything about his results. Okay? As we said, with neither and either, the verb follows the closer noun or pronoun. So here the closer noun is his friends, which is a plural noun. So we need a plural verb here. It's either no or don't. Why not don't? Because neither already gives a negative, and I told you it doesn't come in a negative sentence. So we will choose the verb no. After this, we have come to an end with the clauses. Hope you found it easy for you to differentiate between them. Thank you, my dears.